Hello everyone, I'm James Edward Radji IV, publisher of Lamentations of the Flame Princess. We're going to do something a little different today because we've hired a social media consultant who suggested video topics for me to do, with the idea that these topics can help us get picked up by the algorithm. So no more silly skits, we're going to give you useful information only now, in a nice digestible format. So this video is all about helping out new players of Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Tabletop RPGs have so many options that it can be a bit overwhelming to know which are the best. And it's embarrassing when you join an existing group and you don't know the game yet, and you make new character choices that everyone else at the table already knows are bad. So, to help you hit the ground running, I'm going to tell you the classes that you should never play in this game. And we'll do it in the format of the 7 worst classes in Lamentations of the Flame Princess. We'll start off with the 7th worst class in Lamentations of the Flame Princess, the Halfling. What a joke of a class. Halflings were originally a lesson about how absolute nobodies can change the world in the midst of heroes. And every RPG iteration of the Halfling, including LOTFPs, honors that tradition, and that Halflings are absolute nobodies. I mean, look at their special abilities in this game. You can hide, got good saving throws. I mean, the only thing this class does is avoid any trouble so that everyone else in the group can deal with it. I mean, what fun gameplay. It's like the class was designed to be played by people who just want to watch other people play the game. Yeah, I mean, playing a Halfling is exactly the same experience as watching Critical Role or some other similar show on YouTube. Except the people at your table are going to be ugly and they can't string a sentence together. So, avoid! And coming in at number 6, the Elf. I mean, look at this fucking guy. Just look at him. I mean, nothing says badass adventure like hosiery. I mean, and their abilities. Supposedly, the Elf combines the qualities of a fighter and a magic user. But the Elf doesn't get any better at fighting. So, what you're left with is a magic user that needs more experience to gain levels that everyone else will still expect to be fighting on the front lines. I mean, I don't see how even the greenest noob could fall for this failure of a character class. Number 5 in our worst classes countdown is the Dwarf. I mean, never in history has a piece of art been so misleading, because instead of an absolute badass like you see here, the Dwarf characters class is actually a big ol' lump of nothing. I mean, what can he do? He can carry more, he can take more damage. Great. But if you play a Dwarf, you're basically just playing a player character pack mule. And for the entire life of the character, you'll just get shoved to the front of the marching order with the idea that you can soak up all the damage, even as you're stuck in the same level of combat proficiency that you had at first level. I mean, you really just need to toss the Dwarf right out of your character creation options. The 4th worst class to play in Lamentations of the Flame Princess is the clown car of character classes, which is the Specialist. First of all, it's a class that isn't even anything in itself. I mean, it features point-buy customization, which, number 1, completely defeats the point of having a class-based system in the first place, and number 2, it makes it so that saying that you're a specialist doesn't actually tell you a damn thing about what the character can do or who the character is. I mean, New players may think that making a specialist character will give them skills in the game, that allow things to happen, but really, all they'll be doing is the adventuring equivalent of admin. Hunt that food, search that room, detect that trap. You're the setup. You're the opening act for when it's time for other people to do things, at which point you're utterly useless. So, don't be that tool. The third worst class to play in Lamentations of the Flame Princess is, of course, the magic user. These idiots can't really even do anything at first level. I mean, one spell, that's it. I mean, yeah, LOTFP has the summon spell, but it's so risky, it has such a chance of backfiring that nobody ever wants you to actually use it. I mean, that's the thing in my games. The magic user has the summon spell, he wants to cast his spell, and everyone's like, no. So, magic not user, really. So, what's left? Well, no, I can understand languages once a day. Or, I can make a disc to carry treasure for a little while. I mean, yeah, there's a chance you could put a whole bunch of people to sleep at once, which then just reveals that the rest of the party is just a bunch of murdering psychopaths as they slit everyone's sleeping throats. Great. Just great. That's what you want. But maybe, you say, the reward is in long-term play. Gain a few levels and I can unleash massive damage. Well, number one, gaining levels in Lamentations of the Flame Princess is hardly guaranteed. And number two, that doesn't even happen in Lamentations of the Flame Princess, the mass damage thing. I mean, the artillery spells that people think of when they think of the class and level type games aren't there. They're just not there. But, otherwise, I mean, what can you do when you gain a few levels and get some new spells? You can dig a hole, because the spell list is largely taken from the legacy sources, and digging a hole is a higher level spell. Mystic power, everyone. So, if you decide to play a magic user, you deserve one of those big cone dunce caps on your head for real, in real life, at the table. Don't do it. And coming in at number 2 in the list of worst classes to play in Lamentations of the Flame Princess is the Cleric. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Anyway, the basic concept of the Cleric is that they have divine favor. They wield divine power. But in reality, all their powers do is support other people. So the Cleric is nothing but a glorified NPC, a hireling, a follower. Because if they use their abilities wisely, they're not actually doing anything except helping and buffing up the characters who actually do things. So, I mean, and in Lamentations, they don't even get to turn undead as a standard power like in most of these OSR games. They have to take it as a spell. So, I mean, the Cleric is such a bad choice for character class, for, playing as a character class, that after a session or two, you'll be trying to find ways to kill that character off just so you can make something useful. So, don't even bother in the first place. And the number 1 class that you should avoid playing in Lamentations of the Flame Princess is the Fighter. I mean, I know what you're thinking. The Fighter is the only class that improves at fighting in the game. And everything the Fighter does, they can do as many times as they want without restrictions, and really without any extra rules to go with it. So you would think this is the best class to play, especially for new players. But it's not. It's so very not. You see, Lamentations of the Flame Princess is a horror game, disguised, you know, in a fantasy adventure mask. Very early on in LOTFP's 14-year history, there was a criticism. Lamentations of the Flame Princess punishes Dungeons & Dragons players for playing Dungeons & Dragons, which isn't inaccurate because despite the similarities of the underlying rules engines, it's not Dungeons & Dragons. You know, you don't solve LOTFP adventures by swinging a sword at the problem. It doesn't work. So by making the fighter the most accessible and on the surface, most solid class to play, you're falling into a trap. A trap set by the game for players. And that is why you should never, ever play the fighter. It's simply a fool's choice. And that's it for the latest episode from this channel. We hope that you can now make a Lamentations of the Flame Princess character without making any of the common novice mistakes. And if you enjoyed this content, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. I mean, thank you for joining us. I mean, you only have a limited amount of time on this earth before you die. So it means something to us that you've decided to spend some of that time with us, doing research and homework for your leisure time activities. Yeah. Yeah, I just did it. Yeah. Yeah, I think it went pretty well. You want me to do what next? Oh, no. Never heard of it. Yeah, I don't play video games. Really? Yeah, okay, like Bejeweled and Total Extreme Wrestling, you know, stuff that I could just zone out to. I don't have to concentrate on too much. Yeah. Based on Dungeons and Dragons. Well, I haven't played a new RPG video game since, like, Ultima 7. Was it 1993? Yeah, 30 years. Yeah. Yeah, really. Yeah, I don't play those types. Yeah. Yeah. No, not even, like, official Dungeons. No. No, second edition's the last one I played. Yeah, no, I didn't do third. No, not fourth. No, I got a couple of the books, but I haven't played fifth edition. I don't really. I don't do. No. Yeah, but yeah, I understand. Okay, I understand that maybe it's popular to talk about right now, but no, how am I supposed to? No, how am I supposed to do a video on a computer game I haven't played that's based on another game that I haven't played any of the current versions of for a quarter of a fucking century? What would I even talk about? You can fuck a what?